Welcome everyone to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network, ready to go over all the shows, documentaries, films released on streaming over the past week. Give you best recommendations or non-recommendations as the case may be, and of course at the end of the show, letting you know what's coming out, so you too can create your very own watch list. Joining us as always is Senor Jaime, aka Chewy. What it is, what it was, what it shall be.
The Punisher is what it is, dude. Awesome character.
Love some Punisher. It's John Barenthal. I love John Barenthal. For those who are Daredevil fans and all that.
The
The
return,
return of
yes,
the
of
Punisher,
Punisher.
no doubt. Save the show for save the episode, not the show. I take it back. I forgot. I think they're trying to bring in the Punisher to go find Osama bin Laden, as he's still not been found. According to Netflix, of course, it's still
I think the video got mixed in with the Epstein files, which are never going to be
maybe.
released. So they said no, 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 no connection. Can't make anyone look good. Squash it.
I guess Netflix was supposed to drop the documentary on that like a couple weeks ago. Still waiting for it, so whatever. It's missing as far as we're concerned. We're gonna focus on what was shown on the air. If you're new to the show,
But in all seriousness, that was a great scene in Daredevil.
that was a
The
definitely a great
Punisher,
scene.
I guess Daredevil. Like I said, sometimes you can forget how good this show is when it's not when it's not about the action and the one shots and the fighting, and it's about the characters and getting real, right? Their emotions and going back and forth. It was just like that was like must watch TV.
That's why he's John Barenthal. I love John Barenthal. But really, really, really great
Actually,
scene. Of course, episode 4 Daredevil. But yeah, so let's get started. If you're new to the show, appreciate it. We're here every Sunday going over what you should be watching and should not be watching in our opinions. Subscribe, help us out. It's free. Hit the like button. With that said, Chewy, let's start with, actually, I want to harken back. I forgot to mention Dark Winds. I'm not spending time on it, but season 3 did start and it was,
I for yeah,
yeah,
you were
24
on your
episodes. Yeah,
vacation
it
and
came out really
stuff.
early in the week.
We're really in
Yeah.
Singapore or China or
Well, I
whatever
was
the hell
back
you
when the
were
show
at,
started. I was
Indonesia.
back, but that said, it's a really cool show. AMC Plus, one of the better shows, consistent. And the season's been, so far it's early, two episodes in. The third dropping today. Very good. Very good mystery.
No,
Enjoyed
I
it.
mean, I was concerned about because obviously last end of season two we had one of the characters who was leaving.
Uh,
Uh, well, she took a new position, so I was wondering if they're going to write her out or what they were going to do, or just put the focus on the preservation folks. And no, then now they're giving us a B storyline, right, to
yeah,
follow.
which may
Now whether it's related to the A mystery,
I
we'll
think
see.
it
But
will.
I'm glad that she's still part of the show. 'Cause she was a good
No,
character and
absolutely.
is a good
Yeah,
character,
really
right?
cool. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's a really good show. Very consistent. You like good procedurals type show. This is definitely an interesting one. It's unique, no doubt.
Mhm.
And if we get to new stuff, we have to take a quick moment to.
Well, we have to talk about what ended. I
That's
mean,
exactly what I'm saying. Of
oh,
course, we
okay.
had Severance ending its second season, renewed for a third. Duh. Becoming the most watched show, surpassing the ones, of course, Ted Lasso. And justifiably so, man. Season 2 just wrapped up. Um, this was must watch last season. It's much watched this season, and it may
Well,
be.
when you say last season, that's like 3 years
Well,
ago.
fair enough. The first season. It's been a while. We
It
waited
was
a
much
while.
watched 3 years ago. Now 3 years
We waited
later.
a while, and they better not make it wait that long. This is clearly, I think, the best show on TV. Um, no doubt. It's not going to be for everybody, personally. But in terms of the concepts, the layered of the storytelling, the mystery it builds, it gives you enough to keep you hanging around, but leaves a lot left to obviously explore, particularly in season 3. I love the finale of this one. I thought it was one of my favorite episodes of the series itself. Very spoiler free because we don't want to say anything, but definitely a lot of mysteries kind of unveils, but there's still a lot of stuff like, okay, what's really going on behind the curtain, if you will. But I love this show, man. It's really good. It's really, I mean, it's slow, it's quirky at times, purposeful, but the writing is top notch. Yeah, can't wait for season 3. Chewy.
I'll say that you know they need to get to the point and get there quickly. We're 2 years in, and God forbid we wait another 3 years for season three. But it's time to get to the main course. I got my drink, got my appetizer. I better get steak and potatoes season three. Not saying that it's bad, but you can't continue in this pace and maintain my interest or the general interest. It's not about the critics. It's not the people who love it. It's about gaining critical mass exposure. And if this doesn't get to, okay, let's, what, you better, tell us what the mystery is or give us somewhere where we can solve it. Because right now, I've got no effing
I
idea
think
what Luman
I
is
think
about.
I you can piece some stuff together, but I think which is why
Well,
I always say
but
season three needs to be the last season.
when you build the puzzle, you want to get to the end.
Sure.
You want to see what you're building. You don't just, you're not building a puzzle of all white pieces. There's got to be a
No,
picture
look, I
there,
get, and I
right?
think because
I'm
to
not,
me,
I'm not trying to say this
no.
is bad, but this is 2 years in.
Oh, I'm
At year
fine with it.
three,
Oh, no, this
okay,
this this,
you
this is the
gotta.
season, no doubt. But which is I think season three should end the show. I probably won't. Am I?
Well, that's what I'm afraid
Which is
of,
why
right?
I'm
And they
afraid of
start
that too.
stringing
Of
this
course,
out.
agreed. I think season three is the last. I think should be the last season, but I don't know. Maybe they build something. I can only judge over what I've seen so far, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and like I said, we can only judge on how season two and season
yeah,
one was the big reveal.
mhm,
That was a huge
right.
reveal, right? And that really told us, hey, what is going on here? And season two was more of introspection as far as okay, the innies and the outies, right? And who makes that decision at the end? The innie made the decision to, yes, save someone, but what do you do, right? And obviously there was a scene with they're talking back and forth via camera,
Very
kind
cool
of like a
scene.
like a
Yeah,
slow speed chase,
yeah.
right?
But it was very cool
With that
scene. Yeah,
OJ
yeah,
Simpson speed chase going
yeah.
back and forth and stuff. But yeah, that's my only thing. Like I said, great show, but you need to start getting
Oh
to
no,
the to
yeah, yeah,
the point, the
of course.
moral of
No,
the
and I think
story.
that's what third season. I think third season to me, the way it's building up, first act season one, second act season two, right? In terms of the narrative, season three needs to be a third act, and I think it looks like that's the case. I really hope it is. If it's gonna drag it on, they better really give it something special, right?
Yeah,
I don't disagree there, but so far, I mean, this could be the terrible. This could be Game of Thrones for all I know. Let's be honest, right?
Ugh.
And has the potential to be that because our expectations are keep getting raised, and it's like, damn, something's behind that curtain. The review may not be some guy pretending to be the wizard. You know, we need the wizard, a true wizard behind there. So let's see. But listen, so far, stellar. I love the show, and I can't wait for it to come back. And of course, and I think it's filming soon or started filming. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
I
I could
don't
have
have
sworn I
no
heard
idea,
that from
dude.
somebody. That said, we should get this less than 3 years. Thank God. But let's start with some of the shows that did drop, and we'll do some documentaries. Next week's the week of documentaries, but there was one today. Body in the Snow, the trial of Karen Reed. There's an HBO. I guess it was a 3-day event. If you want to call it an event, dropping six episodes throughout the 3 days.
5 episodes, yeah, over Monday through
Yeah,
Wednesday
I ended up
slots.
finishing
Yeah.
it because my wife got into it, so it came out early enough till we saw it last one yesterday. This one focusing on a case I didn't really was completely unfamiliar about. Karen Reed was her ex-boyfriend or boyfriend at the time. I guess was a cop in Boston, and he was found dead in front of a friend's house in the snow. And now all things pointed to her hitting him with the car, apparently left him for dead. And of course, it's telling her side of the story, gets her opportunity
Or
or
does
does
it?
it right? And they go to the trial, which this is it's not a spoiler, whatever. It's happened already. There was ended up in a mistrial. New trial starts in a couple weeks. So the timing of this is gets kind of correct. Chewy, your thoughts on this one?
I actually enjoyed it. Like I said, didn't know nothing about the case, but it was, what was unique about this. This is just like literally just happened,
Yeah,
man. I mean, this in 22, and the trial was
uh,
earlier this year
I
or
think
the
it's
first
24.
hung jury
It's
late
24.
last year.
Yeah,
Sorry,
2024.
yeah. So actually, this is still fresh, right? But I don't think it made national news. Not that I can
It
remember.
seems like it did. I don't know
Uh,
because it was like they showed all the
or maybe I
protesters
didn't
and
just
all
pay
this. Right,
attention, right? I
exactly,
mean, I don't know.
exactly. It's a lot of stuff going on last year that
Yeah.
outweighed a case in Boston about a cop. Let's be honest. He's a white cop in Boston. It's probably racist. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Dude.
Am I? But that said, no,
Damn Irish.
Irish. No, but yeah, it's. I guess I had no clue, which is cool. It's something I haven't watched before, and you're right. Interesting. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it kept my
yeah,
attention. I found the case pretty
yeah.
appealing, right? Well, and basically, it's murder mystery. What really happened? Who was involved? Right? The folks. I mean, there's just so many things that just don't make any sense about this
It's
case,
a weird
right?
case. in terms of
Uh,
the evidence or lack
yeah.
thereof, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you get hit by a car at, well, I don't know what speed. I mean, it just didn't line up, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah.
cool to see the defense, come up with all these conspiracies that could have occurred, and that's their job, right? Create doubt. Um,
Well, we create an alternative that makes
of course,
sense,
right,
or some
exactly.
kind
Anything
of
that
alternative,
could
right?
point the finger away from the client. So it's cool to see that. It's interesting. It's very interesting. That it makes me curious now. The trial in April, see how that ends up. I'm probably gonna end up following it.
Mhm.
I'll probably wait till the end of April to see what happened. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough there to convict her. To be honest with you, I'm not saying she's not guilty. Now. I just don't know. but but it's
Yeah,
cool that
yeah.
you make your own judgment, right?
It's
Yeah, yeah.
very
It's
suspect
very
to say the
suspect. Yeah,
least.
there's pros and cons to this. Did she? Maybe she did. She, I don't know, but it's interesting. It's a good case, so I definitely recommend this. Again, 5 parts on HBO Max or Max, whatever. Let's go to Hulu. Good American Family. This is based off a true story, I guess. Parents
Hmm.
who adopted a young girl, and she had disability. I guess she was dwarfism. I guess maybe something like that.
Yeah. Hmm.
It all seems nice, hunky dory, sweet kid. But it ends up happening is a lot of things started going awry between the relationship, and it turns out that the possibility that this girl who was 7 or 8 years old is actually not 7, 8 years old. She might be in her 20s and whatever. So, there's a lot of things there. And when the show begins and it shows you the second episode, you're like, I didn't think we were gonna get there. That's what happened in terms of the parents, what happened to them. But look, this one is very cool. I enjoyed it. I didn't think I was, to be honest with you. It surprised me. Good drama, and I'm interested in seeing how this unfolds, particularly with the girl and what happens with that, because she is. You can tell they're giving us snippets that she's not who she claims to be, as
Hmm.
alleged. I'm not sure if this was truly discovered. I read something later that she was actually. There's signs that she really could be 7. I don't know, but at the time. But that said, I'm interested. Following it two episodes in. Chewy, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean I know Max maybe that was on Hulu. There was some documentaries, a two-parter, first part and the set follow-up on this story. I really still don't know. I really followed close enough to know. I mean, I heard kind of the things what was going on, the accusations, but it's wild,
Yeah,
man. It's some wild
yeah.
stuff, man, with this. I mean, you got literally the shady
Actually,
adoption agency. More like a shakedown
I mean,
factory.
it's really what
Jesus,
it
man.
was, and
Uh,
and
eesh.
was it human trafficking? I guess accusations of them from that end. Um, but yes, it's a lot of stuff here.
Like I said, I haven't followed close enough to know what actually happened or whatnot. I mean, I did see an interview with the
With
lady,
the mom.
with the child person,
Okay.
whatever, uh, and what was going on. But I still don't know, what was ended up being true. And they make a point of giving us a little precursor slide that this is there's two different opinions, two different stories
Yeah.
going on that they're trying to present, right? I'm not sure which is the truth, but it's just
It
bizarre,
really
absolutely
is, and
bizarre.
it's they're putting the girls. He's manipulating the parents against each other. So it's interesting to see that. If
Yeah.
all that is true, I'm sure this is dramatized for television, of course. But I'm sure that happened in real life. It's I don't know if it's 7 or 8 year olds capable of doing something like that ultimately. Not to that degree. So, but it's a very interesting show, very cool show. It's a different story than you normally hear. So, I definitely recommend on that one. The next one, Netflix, we got an animated show, the Wolf King. This one here is a
Mm.
boy, adolescent boy. He comes to learn he's a lineage of a king of the werewolves, Lord Werewolf, or whatever the case is. And he's forced out of his village because he's accused of killing his mom, which he did not. And he's forced to go find some help, and he discovers a world of where animals, whether it be sharks or where lions and bears and whatever the case is, and the wolves were the top dog, but no longer. And he may meet the last one standing. Chewy, your thoughts on this 20 some minute a piece, 8 episode run here?
No man, I like it. The animation style is great, 3D style. Great, interesting story. It's based on actually a series of
Uh,
books, so it's not something that's just completely made up, and they reference it in the credits and whatnot. But I'm really enjoying this animation. And Netflix is known for doing great animation, right? We had was the Blue Samurai
Black Samurai.
one. We've had
Yes. Okay.
yeah, which was
Great.
great. I mean,
It was
Castlevania,
really good.
which we love, which was anime style.
Uh,
So I got
Ar-
both different
Arcane.
styles, and here's a new style that giving us a 3D layered look, but with a very interesting story, very unique, and I'm really digging it.
Yeah, I mean that makes it cool. It's got almost kind of stop motion kind of feel to it.
It has
A
a
little
like
bit.
a 3D stop
Yeah,
motion. We know it's
obviously,
not,
right?
right,
Right.
but it has that
Yeah.
feel, right? It has the characters pop, the animation pops out, right? It has depth to it, right? Which is unique. It's not 2D or looks
Yeah.
2D. I mean, we know it's not everything is, everything looks 3D, but there's there's 3D like Pixar,
Right.
and then there's flat like Disney, right? So you can it has different look
Yeah,
and
it
feel
reminds
to
me a
it.
little bit of Arcane. Arcane had a little more stylistic to it,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it has a little bit of
The-
arcade, which are another
That's
great
a great,
animation, which we
fantastic
loved.
show. But no, look, the animation's cool. It's a little youngish at times in terms of who's reaching out to the audience. Like to be what was some lines you want a little more of an edge to it. But I get it. It's fine. It's decent. I like the lore of this world that he finds that of all these creatures and the inner workings of that. And it's, just think about it as Game of Thrones with were animals, whatever you want to call them, were lords, I guess. It's interesting. I'm enjoying. I think I'm halfway in. I don't think it's explored the world as deep as I would like, but it's fine. It's
Mhm.
entertaining. I'm hoping, curious to see if it ends well and where this takes us. But it's enjoyable. Looking for good anime. This could be up your alley. The Residence, the next one we talk about staying with Netflix, is a 8-part murder mystery here. Comedy murder mystery, I
Mhm.
guess, is in the vein of Murders Only in the Building. Not quite as good, let me just
Mhm.
say it now. But this one here, I forgot I forgot her last name, stars as the greatest detective, I guess, in the world. We got Randall Park, as a FBI
Mhm.
agent who's kind of shadowing her because they're investigating the death of the chief usher of the White House, who was found dead, and everyone's a suspect, right? It's a missed this, party, the state party with the Australian uh,
Yeah, it's a state
state dinner. There you
dinner.
go with the Australian consulate, I guess, and
And Kylie
Kylie
Minogue.
Minogue, and we got Giancarlo Esposito who plays the deceased.
Oh, dude, we
Um,
got cousin Balky. I mean, this is star-studded
oh,
cast,
and
man. I mean,
of
top to
course, and
bottom.
particularly highlighted by Hugh Jackman, who is all over the
The cameo that wasn't.
non-cameo by Hugh Jackman. But serious.
That was
But
hilarious.
before I jump in, your thoughts on the Residents?
Dude, I love this show, man. This is just so offbeat. So it's funny, which a comedy. I didn't know what to expect, right? But when we started getting into it, definitely has a very unique storytelling premise it's going through some sort of Senate hearing, which Al Franken, SNL writer, former senator from Minnesota, funny guy actually.
Nice.
He's a lot of funny stuff. Um, he's the head senator running this commission. They're trying to investigate and as they interview people, they're interlacing the interviews and they're jumping around interviews, which is good. It's keeping the story, keeping you on your
Mm-hmm.
toes, right? Giving you clues. I was surprised to see could see Cousin Balky eating
Yeah.
again, Bronson Pinch. And they start getting to and they start developing story and giving you clues and giving you flashbacks and there's a lot of stuff going on, right? It has a murder in the buildings, but it's more like a combination of Clue, Murders in the Building, and what was that one that had that Apple one that had that one great first great season?
Oh, the
Uh,
after party.
yeah, the after party has that
Okay,
kind of feel because
fair.
each episode's different. They're giving you different story, they follow different characters, and everything's happening simultaneously. So yeah, they're telling the story through different perspectives, but it's all understanding. It's all this is all happening, at the same time within the White House, right? And that's giving us some good insight on the White House because I had no idea it had this many buildings, this many floors and
Yeah, no,
stuff.
for real.
But it's really funny. It's got some wild ideas and I think it's been put together well. And so, at the end of the day, it is a murder mystery, right? So who did it? Who done it, right? It was the baker with the candlestick and the
Yeah.
green room, or what?
I think they should have called this show Clue, to be honest with you. And like this, I think it really fits in, right? With these,
Yeah, I mean,
these
I find
weapons
it's
that are
funnier than Clue.
there.
I'll tell you
Well,
that.
fair
But
enough about the room. So yeah, I can say I don't know if it's how accurate it is. I was in the White House a couple years ago, and I didn't see Hugh Jackman. Um,
oh, just stop.
but you don't see him here either. I'm just saying.
And then it has the guy, also the guy from The Wire, the cop from The
Oh,
Wire. He goes,
yeah,
"She." I can't remember his name,
nobody
but that's
says
what
it
he's
better than I
famous
get to
for.
right now. But listen, I didn't love it like you did. To be honest with you, I thought it was okay.
Oh, and,
Oh,
and it's good to see Doug Eden again,
oh,
dude.
that's right from the state. That's true.
From the state. Yeah, no, we're going
No,
we're going
not
old
Doug.
school,
Louis,
man.
not Doug. Yeah, never
Louis.
seen that.
I dip my
Yeah,
balls
so
in
the
it.
10 people who actually know what the hell we're talking about. Yeah, listen, I thought it was okay. The first episode was really weird. Like I just wasn't laughing. I'm like, oh boy, and what I say about comedies, but you gotta make me laugh at some point.
I was
It gets
laughing.
better second, third episode. Like okay, I found it's humorous. I wasn't like, oh my god, cracking up. But there's some funny scenes in there. It's like it kind of finds its voice, I guess. The episode's a little long
Mm.
to my taste for what they're trying to do. I think 30 minutes, 35 minutes would have been better. Kind of like Murders Only does. They find that kind of sweet spot with this kind of show. Look, but the mystery is cool. I like the way it's told. It is amusing
Mm.
and hilarious. Hugh Jackman is great in this. Because
You're not gonna let that go, are
he's
you,
Hugh
dude?
Jackman, dude. I'm like, listen, if you're gonna keep saying, you better show me at some point. I wish they show him at the end like a cameo. That would have been kind of funny. Uh,
That'd be funny.
you know,
That's the running gag, I
right?
think. Obviously,
Exactly.
he's
Yeah,
famous
they keep
Australian,
bringing him up.
so
It's like, okay, but whatever. Listen, it's solid. It's a solid murder mystery show, right? I don't think there's anything special about it. Not as funny as it should be. We'll see the mystery takes us, but I'm enjoying it. I recommend it. Barely, I'm not. If you're limited in what you want to watch, yes. If you have plenty to watch, I'm not sure this is the one you want to turn to. No, I'll kind of leave it at that for them for the most part. The last one here is
I disagree.
no, it's fine.
This is
It's fair.
definitely should be on
Okay,
your watch
fair
list,
enough.
man.
Fair enough.
It's good stuff. It's
Fair
funny,
enough.
man. It's
It's all
I mean,
subjective, right?
they start recounting the stories, and like one person says it's this, then the next person says it's, I mean, like literally, like right after that. No, it was three people. No, it was two people. No, it was all of them. No, it
I mean,
wasn't. No, she was there. No, she was with me. And it's like,
there's
whoa,
red herrings everywhere. Of course, with any show like this should do, right? Gives that red herring. Every episode's
yes,
like, oh, this guy, and then ends up the story's not exactly the way you thought it was gonna go.
yeah,
Which I get. Every
exactly,
show like this
exactly.
does that, and that's what I'll give it credit for that. Because it's not a bad show. I like it's entertaining. It's fine, but I don't know if I put it that high. Like I just wanted a little bit more, but whatever. Happy Face, the last one to talk about. This is a Paramount release, dropping 2 episodes. This one's inspired by true story. I don't know if this is a true story per se in
Hmm.
terms of how it's told, but I guess the background is a woman who did a podcast, I believe called Happy Face. I don't know. But her father was an actual serial killer, convicted serial killer. So she's giving her perspective, and the show kind of takes that and kind of runs with it. The idea of this woman now who's got a
Hmm.
couple of kids, this and that, and her father, yes, is locked up for being serial killer, killing 6, 7 women, brutally murdering them. And apparently now he's trying to get back into her life by, confessing to a crime which someone else was convicted of, and she is reluctantly
And
going along.
on death
And yeah,
row,
on
and on
death
death
row, so
row,
she's reluctantly going
on top of
along. Does she believe? Does she not? It's interesting because we never get. We all love people love serial killers and true crime stuff, right? That's the big thing, right? The flavor of the month, if you will. And everyone's interested in the Jeffrey Dahmers, and we talked about was it Charles Manson, a couple weeks ago. Then
Ted
Ted Bundy, all that
Bundy's.
stuff, and it's great. But we never really focus on, you're right, the family, right? That there's people who, her daughter, like her perspective and what she went through as a result of what things that he did. I find that very interesting. It's a different kind of take on this. It's not about here Dennis Quaid, who plays the serial killer Happy Face, whose son is killing it, man. Jack Quaid and the boys, and he's got two of the better films this year, Companion and Novocaine that came out already this year. He's on the road here, but his dad's like, hold up a second. I started eating first. I'll try to upstage me. He's really good, and he's a serial killer. Listen, it's a good show. I'm enjoying it, and I like the idea of it, and what it's exploring, because it's not a murder mystery per se, but it's more about, I guess, the trauma of what she suffered. Now the rest of her family
Mhm.
will suffer now that it's out in the open, because no one really knew that her dad was, of course, the Happy Face murder. So this is a good recommend for me, no doubt. I'm enjoying it so far. Chewy?
Yeah, I like it. There's some characters that are a little cartoonish, I guess. The guy running the Greg show is just
Oh,
something
it's
that's
kind
the
of like a
same
Dr.
odd and
Phil, that kind
weird
of
and
guy.
like
Yeah,
yeah, the Dr. Phil
yeah, yeah.
wannabe. It's just weird. Like I said, I don't know what's based on truth or what's not.
I,
Um,
yeah.
but whatever. But I mean, overall, if you focus on her and her relationship and her trying to help this guy, right? The guy accused of killing this latest last victim or one of the victims that was uncovered. I think that's where the meat and potatoes of the show is, and that's where the focus should be, right? There's other stuff is a little ancillary, and whatever. But the struggles of her coming to terms with it, and then obviously helping potential victims and people accused of this to, resolve those crimes, right? Kind of like, what these podcasts do, or
Right.
these true crime podcasts, just trying to uncover the mystery,
Exactly.
solve the crime,
And
right?
100%.
Is what
I
they're
assume it's
point.
a limited series. I can't see us going past one season. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think Paramount's listed as
Yeah,
list those series as limited.
yeah,
They'll say whatever.
because I am
You
curious
yeah.
how where this goes, because this is a premise that can only go for so far, right? But we'll see. So that's it. Like I said, it's recommended. That we don't get a lot of Paramount as much as we do like Netflix, but when we do, it's worth checking out. That's it. That was all for the week in terms of the new stuff. Next week is a lot of stuff. It's a busy week of some stuff that's gonna get cut. Documentaries. We got a course on the starting the 25th, which is on Monday, I believe, right? Or today? No, tomorrow. I don't know.
No, no,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, it's Wednesday.
Days. Yeah,
We
Wednesday.
get all mixed up. We had.
Yeah, there's
You're right.
two Max
Two Max documentaries. Yeah,
documentaries that are coming out.
Hollywood Demons, of
Yes.
course, focusing some of the dark side of celebrities. We got
Mm,
Lockerbie, of course. United. Was it United? No, Pan Am flight that was bombed.
yeah.
We got the show on Peacock with that a little bit ago. On the 26th, we got the studio. Seth Rogen. The new comedy's been highly praised for whatever that's worth. Focusing on
Gotta be funny.
it's got to be
Gotta be
funny, right?
funny.
Exactly, just make me laugh. The rest is irrelevant. I guess he's ahead of it, a small studio, up and coming studio, and all that. So it's kind of a, how the sausage gets made, right? I like what's the other show you mentioned on HBO? Um,
Oh,
the franchise. The
the French.
franchise, of course,
Yes,
was again
yes. Yeah.
critically praised, but that show's out already. So whatever, for whatever that's worth.
Nobody
I do watch it
watched.
currently. The 26th, we get Caught, another Corbin novel coming to Netflix.
Harlan Corbin
Yeah, here we
novel,
go.
whatever. Let's see if it's any
Murder
good.
mystery, yada yada yada. Million Dollar Secret reality show on the 26th on Netflix. I guess a group of people. Once amongst them is a millionaire, and I have to figure out who it is. I guess.
Yeah. So who done
Who
it?
done it?
Clue with money.
Basically, so I'm not sure if I'm watching reality shows. We'll see. Boss Legacy, of course, heading to its final season again. Of course, on Prime, a consistent show. Golden Greed documentary, a treasure hunting documentary, right? So
Yes,
okay,
sir. We love a good quick treasure
why
hunt,
not?
man.
And then we got mid-century, modern, of course, comic sitcom on the
Another
road, right?
comedy.
Nathan
Yeah.
Lane, three individual gay men who I guess retire and are living together. I may get the premise wrong. And
Mm.
hilarity ensues. We'll see. That's it. So a lot of stuff here. And they all want hilarity ensue. Doesn't always happen. Uh,
Needs a murder mystery mixed in
there's
with
some,
it.
yeah, and we'll see. But that said, there's a lot of different diverse stuff. Of course, we'll talk about those and more next Sunday. And of course, joining us every week here on Sunday, let you know what you should try to at least watch and see if you agree with the opinion. Not comment below. Of course, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.